Benjamin is going to propose fully reoccupying Gaza. The die has been cast. We're going for the full conquest of the Gaza Strip. Humanitarian groups and UN officials say many are starving, and Israel saying, nah, they're fine. They're like all fat and got Big Macs over there. Now, Israel says they had 1,200 people killed, 250 taken hostage.
As you know, $60 million was given by the United States fairly recently to supply food for the people of Gaza.
Benjamin is proposing a full reoccupation of Gaza. It's going to be ours. Trump was asked about this. He responded on it. He says, Israel's whatever they want to do. But here is what the story said. Now, Benjamin is going to propose fully reoccupying Gaza when he meets with his security cabinet, and that may be tonight. We saw that the Times of Israel was also talking about this today. A local journalist are quoting senior officials saying, the die has been cast. We're going for the full conquest of the Gaza Strip and defeating Hamas. Wow, that's going to go over well. Responding to reports that the army chief and other military leaders oppose the plan, the unnamed official said, if that doesn't work for the chief of staff, then he should resign. Okay, it's ours. The families of hostages fear such plans could endanger their loved ones, with 20 out of 50 believed to still be alive, while polls suggest 3 in 4 Israelis instead favor a ceasefire deal to return them, but they don't care. This is part of the operational endgame. So many of Israel's close allies would also condemn such a move as they push for an end to the war. Yeah, I mean, they've lost, I think, the Canadians, the French, the British. Within Israel, hundreds of retired Israeli security officials, including former heads of intelligence agencies, issued a joint statement to Trump calling him to pressure to end the war, to put pressure on Netanyahu. But one of the signatories is ex-domestic intelligence chief called Ami Ayalon told the BBC, further military action would be futile. From the military point of view, Hamas is totally destroyed. On the other hand, as an ideology, it is getting more and more power among the Palestinian people, with the Arab street around us and also in the world of Islam. Oh yeah, I mean, it's like unifying basically the rest of the world. So the only way to defeat Hamas's ideology is to present a better future. The latest developments come after indirect talks with Hamas on ceasefire and hostage deals have broken down. The footage of those two people both kidnapped has appalled the Israelis. There has been some speculation that the latest media announcement are a pressure tactic to force Hamas into a new deal. In other words, they're not actually going to reconquest the whole area, but they're just saying they will. The military says they've already got 75% of it under operational control anyways. But under the proposed plan, it would occupy everything, moving into areas where more than 2 million people are now concentrated. What happens to them? It's unclear what that would mean for them. About 90% of the 2.1 million people have been displaced, some repeatedly, and are living in overcrowded and dire conditions. Humanitarian groups and UN officials say many are starving, and Israel saying, nah, they're fine. They're like all fat and got Big Macs over there. Israel, meanwhile, says it will allow local business people in Gaza to restart entry of some goods to improve conditions. Approved items include baby food, fruit, hygiene. Private imports were stopped because they said Hamas was benefiting, which is the standard line. The Israeli military has previously held back from taking over some areas of Gaza, and last year 6 Israeli hostages were executed. Terrible. There have not been a formal response, but officials from the Palestinian Authority denounced the Israeli proposal, calling on the international community to intervene. Palestinians point out that far-right Israeli ministers have been openly advocating for the full occupation because they want to build new Jewish settlements there, which I think is true. Like there's a contingent of people that definitely want all that land. In 2005, Israel dismantled settlements withdrew its forces, but alongside Egypt, they've got tight control over it. So here is what they want. That whole segment says last week the UK and Canada joined France, so you got those three, in announcing conditional plans for recognizing a Palestinian state, unless the Israelis say, no, it's our state. The Israeli prime minister is now expected to meet with key ministers and leaders to decide the next steps. Army Radio says they're due to discuss this stuff immediately, said that they would convene a full cabinet meeting this week. We thought it was yesterday, and I think it got postponed. It might be tonight. Israeli commentators have voiced skepticism, saying Benjamin has never taken a gamble on this scale. But after 22 months of fighting, it's hard to take these kinds of promises seriously. All it is just about extending the war. Now, Israel says they had 1,200 people killed, 250 taken hostage. The other side says 61,000 as a result are now killed by Israeli forces. And that's a lot of dead people. So it's just terrible on all fronts. So would be nice if they could just get along, but that will never happen. So we'll see what comes next. Here's what Trump said about it. He was asked about this today. And the question is, how long is Trump going to continue to support Benjamin Netanyahu? So here was Trump saying it's pretty much up to Israel on this. They can do what they want.
Would you support Israel reoccupying all of Gaza, as has been suggested by some Israeli officials?
Well, I don't know what the suggestion is. I know that we are there now trying to get people fed. As you know, $60 million was given by the United States fairly recently to supply food, and a lot of food, frankly, for the people of Gaza that are obviously not doing too well with the food. And I know Israel's going to help us with that in terms of distribution and also money. We also have the Arab states are going to help us with that in terms of the money and possibly distribution. So that's what I'm focused on. As far as the rest of it, I really can't say. That's going to be pretty much up to Israel. Yeah, please.
Pretty much up to them. And of course, their actions are backstopped by the United States, which is where the problem comes into play. All right, so that's what the president had to say.